Hi, another episode of Try This. And I have another interesting thing for you all to try. And this could save you a lot of money. And it could save you from making bad investments if you were on your way to making bad investments. So let's begin. Now, today what I want you all to try is, before making large purchases, think 24 hours before committing to making those purchases. And it's very important that you think 24 hours before committing to large purchases. Now, large purchases should not be made on impulse. There are some persons that on impulse they buy a new car, on impulse they go and buy a property, on impulse they make investments in certain things that they probably should not be making investments in. On impulse they buy anything, cars, a spaceship they buy, you name it. And they bought it on impulse. They didn't take time to think about the implications of making that purchase. They didn't think about whether that purchase is the asset, if it's an asset or a liability. So you should set some guidelines for yourself to avoid financial commitments that are not well thought up. You need to think about anything that actually is going to cost a significant amount of money. Think about whether it's worthwhile. Also, get yourself into the habit of focusing on, if you're purchasing, focus on purchasing things that you need and not things you want. Things that you need are primary. Things that you want, secondary. And especially if the large purchase is something that you want and not that you need, you really have to spend some time. And 24 hours might not be sufficient in some cases, especially in the purchase of new property. 24 hours might not be sufficient. You probably might need much more hours than that, much more time. But the whole essence is, you have to take some time to think before you commit to making these large purchases. And it will save you making an investment in something that might very well be a liability, something that might not make sense. It gives you time to think and put together whether that investment is really sensible. So try, before any large purchase, think 24 hours before committing to the large purchase. If you need more time, take that time. Take as much time as you need to ensure that that purchase is going to make sense. So I have a couple of questions, and I have a lot more questions than usual from viewers. First one is, what if I am making a large purchase and me and my wife's name is on the account used to pay the bill? Should I have my wife think about it too? Well, of course, if she has to sign off, if she is one of the persons that have to sign off before you access the funds from the account to buy the large purchase, then I'm not sure she will sign off without getting a chance to think about it also. So if she will sign off without thinking about it, then you could go ahead, you think about it, and then you do what you have to do. But if she needs to think about it before she signs, then yeah, you have to let her think about it. Otherwise she wouldn't sign. And one thing, you should have your account with your own money that you alone have access to, so that if you see certain things that, say for instance, at the end of the 24 hours, you realize the decision to make this large purchase, logically, it makes sense. It makes sense. And if you have a history of making great decisions, you think you want to be restricted by someone else deciding and might be conflicting your view. So you have to have your own money, your own account, there are only certain scenarios where you should have a joint account. But if it's something that you want to, if you're accustomed purchasing properties, purchasing stuff long before you met your wife, and you have a good history of making those things, then you should preserve that ability to make those decisions. So, but if she has to sign off, then yes, she has to think about it too, if she has to sign off that. Second question: if it's a steal of a deal offer, limited time only, should I still think about it for 24 hours? Yes. You still have to think about it. You don't know if it's a steal of a deal until you really think about it. You don't know if it's a steal of a deal until you had some time to think about the offer. So you can't determine whether it's a steal of a deal. Like you can't really verify, or the chances of you verifying possibly that is a steal of a deal is much lower than if you take some time to think about this thing. So either way, steal of a deal, you still have to wait and think about it before you make that decision. So yes, you still have to wait and think about it. Another question: if any other consideration should be made, is there any other consideration that should be made towards the purchase of a property, house or land? Yes, you might need more than 24 hours if it's house and land you have to purchase. If it's house and land, a property that you have to purchase, you may need much more than 24 hours to think about it. Because you're going to have to think about the appraised value. You're going to have to think about the offer, the price of the asking price, and then where does the appraised value map to that. So you might have to now get some information about the appraised value. Because if the asking price is 400,000 and you don't know the appraised value, and then you make a down payment, then it turns out that the appraised value is way less than the asking price, you're going to be in problems. Then you also have to check and see is there anything wrong with the property? There are many things you have to look at. Sometimes you might have to look and see if the house is haunted, depending on the price. The price might be it might be a steal of a deal property opportunity, and you, without thinking, you might purchase that property and then you realize it's a haunted house. So either way, in the case of house and land, you're gonna need much more time than 24 hours to really gather the information that you need to think about it before committing. So I hope this segment benefited you all, especially with making large purchases. If you are about to make a large purchase, I hope this stopped you a bit and made you consider taking 24 hours minimum to think about it. Until then, I'll see you all in the next episode.